This analytical network represents the physical application of an ancient epic to redraw modern geopolitical and economic maps across South Asia. We are examining the spatial logic of the Ramayan Circuit. Tourism policy planners utilize this corridor as a highly structured exercise in narrative-driven destination development. The framework targets three specific scales: activating global pilgrimage tourism, enforcing localized heritage conservation, and establishing transnational diplomacy. By linking these specific sites, the policy transforms isolated provincial geography into a continuous civilizational landscape, effectively redefining regional infrastructure. The spatial logic begins with a consecrated anchor in Uttar Pradesh, Ayodhya. As the Janmabhoomi of Lord Rama, the city is now defined by the massive infrastructural investment and monumental scale of the consecrated Ram Mandir. A central anchor of this magnitude requires a network of satellite nodes to manage and distribute the radiating tourist density. Notice these smaller nodes appearing nearby. This includes Nandigram, leveraging the narrative of Bharat's proxy rule to create a secondary destination. The line then extends to Sringvarpur, the Nishad kingdom. This site marks a crucial geographic threshold where the narrative requires crossing the Ganga. Shifting the geographic focus eastward into Bihar, the policy integrates origin narratives to expand the network's reach. A new node locks onto Sitamari, specifically Punalidam. As the birthplace of goddess Sita, this location is receiving an influx of state funding for a new government temple. Sitamari's immediate proximity to the border introduces the first layer of transnational diplomacy, creating a shared heritage corridor with Nepal. Nearby, targeted heritage conservation efforts preserve sites like Sage Vishwamitra's ashram in Buxar. The mapping then secures Darbhanga, anchoring the circuit deep within Maithili cultural geography to ensure regional participation. By densely packing this northern cluster with origin stories, planners establish a powerful regional economic baseline before the circuit pushes south. Pushing south across the state border, the map line faces the challenge of routing through central India's disparate ecological zones. The solution is pinning a massive node exactly on the border at Chitrakoot, Ram's primary forest hermitage. The riverine geography and dense ghats here establish a distinct environmental shift from the northern plains. To connect these different state jurisdictions, policymakers deploy the Dandakaranya banner, uniting them into a single cohesive narrative zone. The network then branches east, placing a node at Mahendragiri in Odisha, and drives a vector south into the tribal belts of Chhattisgarh, mapping Jagdalpur. This routing integrates local indigenous populations and their surrounding landscapes directly into the broader geography of the epic. Branding these disparate states as a unified forest corridor standardizes tourism development across heavily fractured political lines. Pivoting westward into Maharashtra, the map traces the sites of Sita's abduction by locking onto Nashik and Nagpur. Here, the pilgrimage infrastructure is integrated into the dense urban development surrounding central water tanks and civic centers. Driving deep into South India, the circuit relies on elevated complexes and localized transit at Bhadrachalam in Telangana, establishing a critical Vaishnava integration point. At this latitude, planners employ a strategy of layering established international UNESCO heritage frameworks directly into the domestic route. We see this at Hampi in Karnataka, where monumental stone ruins serve as the physical representation of the Kishkinda kingdom. The network line finally reaches the southern tip of India, dropping a massive terminal node in Tamil Nadu, Rameshwaram. The towering temple entrances manage massive flows of pilgrims, matching the scale of the northern anchors. Positioned on the Palk Strait, the narrative of Ram building his bridge to Lanka provides the cultural mandate for modern maritime and transit connectivity. Terminating the domestic corridor at this maritime boundary creates a shared infrastructural framework that necessitates ongoing bilateral heritage and transit coordination with Sri Lanka. Pulling back to a macro view of South Asia, we see the completed spatial map. These nodes operate as a single organism, transferring economic energy across the subcontinent. This system secures localized heritage conservation by driving targeted funding into these specific, pulsing geographic pockets. Simultaneously, the immense crowd density and organized barricade infrastructure prove the scale of macroeconomic activation across the global Hindu community. Finally, the terminal nodes at the northern and southern extremes establish permanent soft power linkages with Nepal and Sri Lanka. Travel policy in South Asia integrates isolated sites into a broader civilizational context. The Ramayan Circuit proves that modern infrastructure is effectively the mapping of ancient civilizations. If you study tourism policy, pilgrimage geography, or heritage corridors, I want to hear from you. Which node on this spatial model falls closest to your area of study? Drop it in the comments.
Follow Tourismologist for more such insights about India and its destinations.